On the night of April 11th, 1997, fire consumed the chapel that had protected this cloth for 300 years. Locked behind 4 layers of bulletproof glass, the most studied artifact in human history was minutes from being destroyed. A firefighter raised an iron sledgehammer and swung. It had survived this before. It has survived everything. A single piece of linen, 14 feet long, barely visible to the naked eye, the faint image of a man who may have changed the world. This is its story. Jerusalem, around the year 33. A man condemned by Rome was taken down from a cross on a hillside outside the city walls. What happened next would depend on who was there to claim the body. According to the Gospels, a man named Joseph of Arimathea claimed the body. He brought fine linen, a cloth woven in a 3-to-1 herringbone twill, 14 feet long, 3.5 feet wide. They laid him on a stone slab inside a tomb cut from rock. The cloth was folded over his head, covering the full length of his body, front and back. The entrance was sealed. What happened next is where history and faith divide. But something happened. Something left a mark. No paint, no dye, no pigment of any kind. Something burned an image into the outermost fibers of the cloth. An image so faint it cannot be seen clearly within 6 feet. An image that exists on a layer thinner than a human hair. An image that would wait almost 2,000 years to be fully seen. For over 1,300 years, the cloth disappears from history. Where it went, who kept it, how it survived, no one knows for certain. Some historians believe it was the Mandylion, a cloth bearing the face of Christ venerated in the ancient city of Edessa. In 944, a cloth matching that description was carried through the gates of Constantinople. Then, in 1204, Crusaders sacked the city, and the trail goes cold. 1,300 years of silence. Then, in a small village in France, the cloth reappears. 1353. A French knight named Geoffroi de Charny presents the cloth at a small church in the village of Lirey. He never explains how he obtained it. Pilgrims flood in. The money follows. But the local bishop is suspicious. He investigates. He writes to the Pope and declares it a forgery. He claims a painter confessed to creating the image. The Pope allows it to be displayed, but only as a representation, not a relic. 3 years later, de Charny is killed at the Battle of Poitiers. Whatever he knew about the cloth's origin, he took it to his grave. For a century, the cloth changed hands among the de Charny family. Then, in 1453, a noblewoman sold it. The price for what might be the burial cloth of Jesus Christ was a castle in Varambon, France. The House of Savoy now owned the shroud. 1482. The Savoys placed the cloth inside a silver reliquary at their chapel in Chambéry, high in the French Alps. 50 years later, in 1532, fire engulfs the chapel. The silver melts. White-hot drops fall through the folded cloth, burning a symmetrical pattern of holes through every layer. Someone pulls the burning shroud free and douses it with water. The holes are there. The scorch marks are there. But the image, the faint figure of a man, is untouched. The Poor Clare nuns of Chambéry sewed triangular patches over every burn hole. Those patches would remain on the cloth for nearly 500 years. In 1578, Duke Emmanuel Philibert moved the shroud to his new capital in Turin, Italy. It would never leave that city again, except once. In 1939, as war swept across Europe, the shroud was secretly transported hundreds of miles south to a Benedictine abbey at Montevergine, hidden from the bombs, hidden from the Nazis. For 7 years it sat in silence in a monastery, waiting for the world to stop burning. May 28, 1898. An amateur photographer named Secondo Pia is given permission to do something no one has ever done. He is going to photograph the shroud. He sets up a heavy glass plate camera in Turin Cathedral. The electric lights are unreliable, flickering against the stone. He exposes the plate, carries it to his darkroom, and submerges it in chemicals. An image begins to appear on the glass, but it is not what he expects. The faint markings on the cloth are a photographic negative. His glass plate reveals a clear, detailed, positive image of a human face. A face hidden inside the cloth for centuries, encoded in a way that would not be understood until photography was invented. Secondo Pia nearly dropped the plate. He later wrote, "I was dumbfounded by it." He was accused of fraud. For 33 years, no one believed him. Then in 1931, a professional photographer confirmed every detail. The shroud really was a negative, and nobody could explain how. In 1978, a team of 32 scientists was given hands-on access to the shroud for 5 days. What they found only deepened the mystery. The image exists on the outermost fibers of the cloth, on a layer thinner than a human hair. No paint, no dye, no medium of any kind was applied to the surface. The image contains three-dimensional information. When processed through imaging equipment designed for NASA, the flat image produced a three-dimensional relief of a human body. No painting, no photograph in history has ever done that. The blood is real, type A, B. It shows separation of blood and serum, consistent with a body that experienced severe trauma before death. The thumbs are absent from the image because nails driven through the wrists cause the thumbs to retract, a detail no medieval forger could have known. Then, in 1988, the Vatican allowed something unprecedented. A small sample of the cloth was cut, divided into 3 pieces, and sent to 3 independent laboratories. The mission was simple. How old is this cloth? The results were unanimous. The cloth dated to between 1260 and 1390 AD. Medieval, not 1st century. Every major newspaper declared it a fake, but the sample was taken from a single corner. A corner that researchers later found showed signs of medieval reweaving, a repair that mixed newer threads with the original cloth. The debate over whether the test dated the shroud or the patch has never been resolved. Dozens of attempts have been made to recreate the image on the shroud, using medieval techniques, using modern lasers, using radiation, chemicals, photography, painting, scorching. None have reproduced the full combination of properties. The image formation remains unexplained. It is the most studied artifact in human history, and after more than a century of science, we still cannot answer the most basic question. How was this image made? And then, in 1997, fire came for it again. Firefighters smashed through 4 layers of bulletproof glass to pull it from the flames. For the second time in 5 centuries, fire tried to destroy the Shroud of Turin. For the second time, it survived. Whether this is the burial cloth of Jesus Christ, or an extraordinary creation whose method has been lost to time, one fact remains. No one alive can explain how this image was made, and no one has been able to make another. 14 feet of linen, 2,000 years, 2 fires, countless hands, and still the face remains.